I think that some of those bigger brands really need to think about adding some of these cool features to their guitars if they're going to stay in those price points and stay competitive. In today's deep dive, we're going to be checking out a Boya Ziqi guitar. This video is brought to you by Sweetwater and Line 6. We're going to be using the Catalyst 60 watt to do the sound samples for this guitar. So I want to thank the people at Sweetwater and Line 6 because this is not only what we're going to be using today, this is the amp we're going to be using going forward for all guitars that we review under $500. Because this amp is $299, as you know, I really like the Catalyst, but especially the 60 because it's just a smaller amplifier and it works perfect for what I need it for. I wanted to use an amp when I'm doing the sound demonstrations of guitars that are sub $500 that is more likely to be something that someone will be listening for or looking for their own personal collections instead of like a $3,000 boutique amp or something like that. So we'll be using the Catalyst and the sound samples. So this guitar has a lot of promises and a very low price point. It is the BZK-024 Modern Series. I wonder where they got that name from. But more importantly, it's its feature set. It is stainless steel frets, a 2-point tremolo with brass saddles. You have a 5-piece roasted maple neck, mahogany body with a poplar burl veneer. These are some serious appointments for a guitar that is $359. That's $359 shipped, by the way, with free returns from Amazon. This is a hard thing to not want to check out. So let's get into it. Thoughts out of the box, a couple things is the frets are sprouted a little bit, so they're a little sharp on the ends. The action is very high, and the truss rod had to be tightened because it was completely loose, but even completely tightened, the action is still high, so that has to be addressed in the Geeky Stuff. And also, the tone knob is just kind of falling off because it's not secured on properly, so we'll take care of that as well. Other than that, let's talk about some of the things it comes with. It comes with the tremolo arm. That's a push-in style tremolo arm. And it needs to be compressed. There's an Allen wrench adjustment, maybe. Oh, right there. Yeah, and it needs to be compressed. Comes with a standard basic guitar cable, and it comes with the adjustment tools. So you have Allen wrenches and, of course, an adjustment tool for the truss rod. You have a spindle style truss rod there. So pretty basic stuff, but good looking guitar for the price point. All right, let's get into the geeky stuff. Starting with the headstock, we have a poplar burl veneer top. That's a polyurethane gloss finish with an Indian laurel fretboard and a bone nut. 24 stainless steel frets with a mahogany body and another poplar veneer on the front of the guitar. Now looking at the back, we have 6 18-to-1 tuning keys. These are non-locking with a 5-piece neck that is roasted and natural, roasted and non-roasted maple, I should say. So you have roasted maple, roasted, roasted. And then that comes down to the body. And then you have a mahogany body. And this is a 2-piece mahogany body, but for some reason, the bottom piece is right here. And then this is the second piece. So interesting way instead of not centering it. So I'm not sure what the idea there is. You have a neck joint with furls. This is what we call the handshake when we hold it like here. It's pretty thick on the hand, and even though it's rounded, it's not super comfortable. It's not doing anything to make it much different than just a standard Fender style. A little better because it's rounded and it doesn't have the plate, but again, not ultra comfortable when holding the heel. Something else to notice too is that there's a hairline crack right there on the neck joint. And this looks like a crack, but it's actually a dog hair. Another thing to mention is that nowhere on this guitar is any markings. Not only where it's made, but no serial numbers, nothing. There's nothing on this guitar in any way. First thing we want to do is tune the guitar up, which I did, and now the guitar's in tune, we want to check the neck relief. What I want to show you guys is that there is quite a bit of relief in this neck, as you can see. In fact, so much so, I'm going to take this pick and just slide it in. Right there. So you can see it's quite a bit of relief. And the one thing we're going to notice right away is that the truss rod is maxed out. In other words, it's relieved all the way. So there's no tension on this neck whatsoever. So we want to go ahead and address that. Now to adjust the tension, it's pretty straightforward. We're just going ahead and turn this. And obviously we want to get some tension on this neck. And I have to do this for the video purposes, but I want to take a second and explain that I like to make adjustments in the playing position. In other words, seated down like this in your lap. This is the best way to do it, but it's a little difficult to make videos that way. So it's going to be on the bench for video purposes. Okay, so now what we want to do is take a look at the action And we're seeing it at 1.75 or 0.07. So pretty good. So obviously that adjustment made a big difference on getting that action dialed in. What we have here is 24 stainless frets. Let's go ahead and check this. And these are medium jumbo frets. So that's pretty nice. Not jumbos, not really big, but they're medium jumbos, so they're pretty tall. If you like a fret where your fingers really don't touch the fretboard, this is gonna have a very light touch response. In other words, your finger will barely touch the fretboard with these frets. If they were a little taller, you wouldn't touch the fretboard at all with your finger. Checking the scale length, we're showing this at 25.5 inches, and we'll check the intonation. And also, I have a video in the description that teaches you how to do that in just seconds. Okay, so let's go ahead and check the nut. And the easiest, fast way to do that is just to go ahead and press down on the 3rd fret and check the play between the string and the 1st fret. You can see there's a little bit of play there. So what that means is they could have caught the slots a little lower, but it's not the worst thing, because the worst thing is if they cut the slots too deep. But overall, the quality of what they did looks good. Check these frets for high spots. We have one high fret right here. Yep. Okay, so this is our high fret right here. So you'll notice, no issue there. A little bit more buzz there. No issue there. Buzz there. So that's gonna be a problem. So we're gonna go ahead and fix that. The first thing we're gonna do is mark that fret. Let's go ahead and finish the rest. Okay, so all that and only that one fret, this one right here, this is the only one that's a problem. So to fix that fret, I'm going to show you a couple things, and I'm going to show you a couple cool little tools that I use. The first one is going to be the Tremolo Buddy. So to use the Tremolo Buddy, it's pretty straightforward. You're just going to put it right underneath here and clamp this down like so. Once that's clamped, just go ahead and put the tremolo arm right here underneath this pad, and there's a little indentation right underneath this pad for this tremolo arm. Go ahead, push it down so it locks. Everything's good to go. And then go ahead and just start releasing the tension. So now that the tension's all relieved on this, I'm going to go ahead and put the strings on the side, and I just want to show you again this Tremolo Buddy, how cool this is. You can see that it's just holding it in place. And of course, you can just shove a pack of strings or something underneath there, or some business cards. This is just to show you a cool tool I've been using, and I really like it. I have a full video on it if you want to check it out. Now what we want to do is go ahead and prep this for fixing that high fret. So what we're going to do is just go ahead and use some painter's tape, and that will keep the strings out of the way. So that's all clear now. And then we're going to use the Stumac Fret Kisser, which is like a fret rocker. It's a little thick, and it's like built-in sandpaper or a file, whatever you want to kind of look at it like. What's important is I have a hack on how to basically make this. Take a piece of 400 grit paper with double stick, or put double stick tape on it, cut yourself off a little strip like so, and then wrap it around your fret rocker. Now this is important. You want to painter's tape the frets. You are not going to be sanding, because the fret rocker is abrasive compared to the fret kisser that I used earlier. The reason why you want adhesive on the sandpaper is because you want it to be perfectly flat. You don't want it rounded. This is not ideal, but it works perfectly, and you'll be able to achieve the same results. But this is so easy, I just want to show it to you guys. You just basically put it right here and move it from side to side, okay? And then now what we want to do is you can use your crowning file. I'm using the Z file, but you can use a crowning file, and you just want to do a light pass right over that fret. Just very light, because again, we didn't take very much material off. And then we're just going to polish it, and you can use a fret eraser or steel wool or micro mash pads. I would actually just do all the frets and just make sure they're all polished at that point. Might as well do it. Go ahead and look at that fret, and you can see now she's good to go. Let's go ahead and do a sock test, and it sounds like popcorn. That's pretty rough. I mean, you can see it's even chewed there, and I'll do this one section right here just so you can see. It's Yeah, it's pretty rough. Let's do the other side. For the bass side, and yeah, I'm gonna say still pretty rough. Even a hole right there, a couple holes. So definitely for both sides, I'm gonna say a 1 out of 5. Before I continue, I'm going to go ahead and fix those. I'm going to put a link to a video that shows you how you can fix your fret end if they are sharp like this. But to give you a reference, this guitar ended up taking me about 35 to almost 40 minutes to go ahead and take care of all those fret ends. So now let's check to see how gritty the frets are. And you know what's funny is I would say they were good. If they were nickel, I would say these are good. But as stainless steel, they're a little gritty, a little grittier than what I would expect to see stainless steel, but nothing to complain about. Now checking the fretboard radius, it is showing about 16-inch radius, and it is not a compound radius fretboard, so it's just 16 all the way up and down. The fretboard is not rolled, it's not a rolled edge, it's not extremely sharp, it's soft to the touch, but again, it's not rolled over. If you like the really rolled over edge, I don't know if you'll like this, but this is not harsh. The neck shape they have listed as a C, and what I'm finding is it is actually not only a C, it's a Gibson Les Paul style 50s C carve. So it would be, it's in that vein for sure. So not the typical Fender C, but more of a chunky Gibson C carve. So the first fret is 23.12 millimeters or 0.910. And the 12th fret is coming in at 0.977 or 24.83 millimeters thick. The nut is 42.05 millimeters or 1.655, and the 12th fret is 2.021 or 51.36 millimeters. So let's go ahead and look at these pickups, and we're gonna see that the bridge is at 16.49K or 16.50K. Neck pickup is sitting in at 7.50, so definitely go in for that Alnico 2 vintage sound here, and definitely the more aggressive, probably a full shred. That's probably what they're going after. So looking at this bridge pickup at 16.5K, we're gonna go ahead and coil split it, and that's dropping it down to 8.25. And on that neck, it's gonna drop it down to 3.72. So of course, this is gonna sound pretty thin as a single coil. This has a pretty good shot at sounding like a pretty decent single coil. Let's go ahead and look at the inductance. And on that neck pickup, we're gonna be at 3.83. And on this bridge pickup, 6.23. So let's look inside the cavity. What we have in here, of course, is a 3-way blade switch on a PCB board. You have a push-pull pot right here. This is a 500K push-pull pot, and then a 500K mini alpha style pot. You have no shielding inside the cavity or on the back of the plate. This appears to be plastic, and it was really stuck in there. Had to use my trusty dent puller to pull that out. These you can get at Harbor Freight for about $2 and they work fantastic. If you haven't seen how you do this, you basically, that's it, push down. So check these out for $2 at Harbor Freight. We have a recessed plate for the electronics. We have a top mounted plate for the tremolo. 2 springs, which is standard for this. This is buffing compound, this stuff right here. And then of course you have the output jack, and it's a pretty basic, inexpensive output jack. Interesting spacer they have there, a little plastic spacer. But everything pretty inexpensive, but it's accurately done. So interestingly enough, the electronics is not shielded. However, if you look in here, you can definitely see, let's go ahead, touch those 2 points. You can see that the pickup cavities are shielded. Let's make sure not to touch that. You can see there. So they are shielded. The pickups have no markings of any kind to tell you what they are. I even looked underneath this pad. There's no markings on the pickup whatsoever. And for those of you that are curious, this guitar came in at about 7.5 pounds. Now, as far as market comparables, like I said, this is $359. And it does compare with guitars like the Charvel DK24, even though that guitar doesn't come with stainless steel frets. It also compares with the Harley Benton Fusion series, which is similar spec to this guitar and about the same price, $359. And of course, there's the Ibanez AZ, again at $1,400. And then the Shiji guitars, which are very nice comparably, but more than double the price. This guitar, to me, is not in the same league as the Shiji the Charvel and the Ibanez, but it is in league exactly with the Harley Benton. A lot of the things I like and dislike about this guitar, I had exact similar experiences with Harley Benton. Okay, so let's go ahead and check out the way it sounds. We're going to start with the clean channel, or the clean channel I set up on the Catalyst, mic'd up with an SM57 and of course a room mic. I have it set on the clean amp. I am not using any boost. I have the gain, as you can see, about a quarter turned up. That's another dog hair. I have my bass, mid, and treble about 12 o'clock, a little bit of presence, the channel volume, and I'm only using the reverb and no additional effects. So let's get to it. We're going to start with the neck pickup, volume and tone full forward. It sounds really nice, it's kind of full sounding. Pretty nice. Okay, let's go ahead and go to the middle position. I like that. I want to hear how it sounds coil split. Here we go. Wow, it really drops in volume. Let's go to the neck pickup. Here's the neck humbucker. Coil split. Okay. It's a massive drop off in volume for the coil splits. I don't know if that's going to come across in the video, but just be aware. It's something that you're going to have to think about. We got at the bridge now. A little dark for a bridge pickup. Curious to see if this coil split does the thing. Let's try the tone control. Okay, let's try the overdrive on the amp. For the overdrive, I'm going to be using the crunch amp setting, and my controls look like this. I'm not using any boost. I have the gain about just short of halfway. I have the bass, mid, and treble almost at noon. I have a little bit of presence, the channel volume set. I am using a little bit of a delay in the effects, and of course some reverb, and this is on the bridge pickup. Bridge is working great for just a slight tremolo. Let's go to the neck pickup. I want to try the coil split now. Here's the neck coil split. so some final thoughts on this guitar. It's $360, so you're never gonna really beat up a guitar that's priced less than some of the most basic Squier guitars and Epiphones on the market. It's an impressive guitar for what it is. I thought the pickup sounded pretty good. Tuning keys seemed fine, the nuts seemed fine, and other than some fret dressing and stuff needed on the frets, the overall quality of the guitar seemed pretty legitimate. If you were buying this guitar and you thought, okay, what would it cost me to have some of this work done? I would expect that you would have to put up to $200, $250 worth of labor into this if you took it into a shop. That is what I would think that some of your costs are. You could do all that stuff yourself, of course, just by watching some videos, including mine, and save yourself a lot of money and make yourself a pretty good guitar. It's impressive to see what these companies still keep putting out for the price points. I hope this really drives some of the market. I think I'd like to see some of the bigger brands maybe take notice of the fact that they're getting a lot of quality features. Look, we already know the bigger brands are going to be more money. That's not the question of, hey, they should drop their prices. Really what it is I just don't think bigger brands for 2 to 3 times the price should be allowing no-name manufacturers, basically new brands, come in and just hit you with every feature you can think of. I think that some of those bigger brands really need to think about adding some of these cool features to their guitars if they're going to stay in those price points and stay competitive. That's just my thoughts on that. As always, guys, I want to thank you so much for your time. Till the next time, know your gear.